Speaking from India. My name is Prachi Arora and I welcome you all to the second webinar of Dairy Webinar series on the theme Consumer Trends Driving Packaging Innovation. Brought to you by Benison Media in association with Your Brookery India. India is looking to double its milk processing capacity from the current 53.5 million tons to 108 million tons by 2025, and will have a quantum leap in the share of value addition in milk from currently 23% to 40%. This is a statement by Mr. Atul Chaturvedi, Secretary, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India. So when we plan to double our processing capacities, that demands more packaging. So how it would be? A similar kind of packaging, or more affordable, or a sustainable one, or something else? Let's find out with our dairy processing and packaging experts today. But before that, let me introduce you about the flow of the event. The moderator will be setting the context. The moderator will be setting the context of the webinar, which will be followed by speakers' presentation, audience polls. And once all the speakers present their views, the session will be open for live questions, and we will try to take as many questions as we can, and unanswered ones will be answered via email. And lastly, we will be having the concluding remarks. Though most of you might be familiar with this platform, still let me just brief you. You can always use the chat box to communicate with other attendees and ask your questions. You will remain on the mute mode during the webinar. So now let me welcome the moderator of the session, Dr. Captain Tanveer Alam. Dr. Tanveer Alam is an entrepreneurial executive with over 20 years of experience in serving the animal feed industry. Besides that, he has an experience of 5 years in serving the Indian Army in Remount and Veterinary Corps. Presently, he is working with Kemin Industries South Asia as the marketing director. With 25 years of experience, Dr. Alam brings great insights into consumer need behavior and foresighting the consumption trend. He will moderate the 90-minute session to bring the most interesting facts from our dairy processing and packaging experts. Over to you, Dr. Alam.
Thanks a lot, Prachi, and very, very good afternoon to everyone attending this webinar. And after hearing this kind of wonderful introduction, obviously it leaves a good level of enthusiasm and spirit, So I'm that way blessed with a nice introduction of Prachi. So I welcome you all formally in this webinar organized by Benison and George Bucare. And the topic of today's discussion is consumer trend driving innovative packaging. Quite interesting and very focused topic, I must say. One thing is for sure that with all of you attendees and very esteemed panelists with us, it will be a great round of discussion today. We all know that, we are getting adjusted actually with the ongoing pandemic. The number of corona cases are no more surprising us actually, The consolation is that COVID-19 case fatality rate is witnessing a decline. That's a good news. However, as a summary, we can say that COVID has indeed made a very big impact on various aspects of our day-to-day life. And in fact, it has impacted our economy also in a big way. In fact, I was looking at around 2 weeks back, IMF has released the World Economic Outlook report. And they are projecting India's GDP is going to be shrunk by 10.3% in this fiscal year. During the last course of few months, in fact, we have heard many predictions. Before we get into the details of today's webinar, I'd like to, bring you to the predictions which was there that recovery of economy after COVID is going to be like V-shape. There will be sharp decline and there will be sharp increase in the consumption economy. Then that prediction changed to W-shaped recovery, that there is going to be drop, there's surge, then drop, and then again there's going to be regaining of the economy. Now, what is being told is that it's going to be K-shaped recovery, where there are certain segments which are going to be seeing a very faster growth, and there are going to be certain segments which are going to be continuous seeing downward trends from the consumer behavior perspective. In fact, Euromonitor also predicts that among all the sectors, food sector is the one which is going to be seeing the largest lift in and post-COVID time also. And the various data point also says that in food sector, the sale of milk and value-added milk product is also further going to be seeing its rise. The reasons could be many: work from home, or maybe consumers buying behavior, or more spend towards the home cooked food and all that. And the role of importance and role along with importance of packaging in this transition of consumer behavior is going to be playing a very, very crucial role ahead. In fact, I'd like to draw you towards one of the consumer sentiment survey, which was done by BCG sometime back in this year. 66% of the people are trying to avoid unnecessary contact. Customers or consumers of today are keeping in forefront the importance of safety and hygiene. In fact, this itself can become a great insight for deciding that what kind of packaging of milk or milk product we should be having, considering that kind of thought process of consumer in mind. So in today's theme, we are actually going to be touching upon some of the subjects like whether packaging is hygiene friendly or not, if you are there into the production of the product, whether the packaging is having e-commerce friendliness, ship readiness, or convenience for direct to consumer model operation, whether the packaging is affordable or not, whether the packaging is having the sustainability narrative or not. So these are some of the key points we are going to be touching upon today. And we have today a panel of stalwarts in their own field who, in my opinion, have a very discerning eyes in observing the consumer behavior and coming up with the solutions which delights the customers and consumers in terms of meeting their expectations. Let me take a very brief opportunity to introduce them. Of course, it's more a matter of formality because you'll be knowing most of these personalities quite well. First, let me welcome Dr. Ratnam. I'm not sure whether Dr. Ratnam has been able to join or not. Oh, I mean, excellent. Excellent. Nice to see you, sir. I'm sorry, I was not able to see that. So first, let me welcome Dr. Ratnam. Dr. Ratnam is presently the CEO of Milky Mist, which is one of the fastest growing organization in dairy value adder landscape. In fact, in past couple of months, I could see that Dr. Ratnam has introduced a series of value-added products, milk products, and that too in a very innovative packaging and quality differentiator, well placed, And his passion on the quality of the product and packaging can be attributed to him being associated with the largest milk and milk product brand Amul for more than 23 years, where he served as managing director. Welcome, Dr. Ratnam, and looking forward listening to you.
Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you.
Welcome. Our next panelist today is Bharat B. Mehta. Mr. Mehta comes from a background of chemical engineering from a very premier institute of India, and he has a very vast experience in the polyester field, which has got a lot to do with the matter which we're going to be talking today about the packaging, particularly from the technical perspective. He has over 30 years of experience in polyester manufacturing and marketing. He has played a significant role in coming up with an innovative packaging solution in Reliance for more than 25 years and is currently holding the position of Vice President of Polyester PET Division of Reliance Industries. Welcome, Mr. Bharat, and looking forward for your deliberations today.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Thank you.
Welcome. And our next panelist is Mr. Sanjay Singhal. Sanjay Singhal is a very adorable personality working as Chief Operating Officer of ITC's Dairy and Beverage Business. Sanjay has successfully led the entry of ITC into the dairy category, and he is also the member of Divisional Management Committee of ITC Foods. Prior to this assignment, he was with Dabur and was the man behind introducing brands like Real Fruit Juices. And he had also handled some of the iconic brands in Hindustan Unilever and in Yum Group, where he managed the Pizza Hut brand, with which we know that much better rather than Yum Group. In the career spanning nearly 25 years, he has handled several P&L responsibilities and strategic leadership responsibilities in marketing and sales. Sanjay is an alumni of IIM Bangalore, and consumer behavior and market research are areas of special interest of him. Welcome, Mr. Sanjay, for this round of discussion.
Thank you, and thanks for your kind words.
Welcome. So today, just before I let the panelists start rolling off their insights, we have today's deliberation in two broad sections. In the first section, we will request each of the panel member to share their thoughts in 10 minutes each, maybe using their PowerPoint slide if they want. And after that, we'll have a round of panel discussion. In this discussion, we'll also be glad to pick up the questions which you are going to be asking right through this session. We have also received some questions prior, so we'll be picking up those questions also. And I'm sure it will be a very enjoyable session for all of us today. So over to you, Dr. Ratnam, for sharing your thoughts. Over to you, sir.
Okay, fine. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And it's a privilege for me to be here on this forum and address the August gathering, because I've seen a lot of names which are familiar to me, and are also a lot of stalwarts from the industry. Going forward, you see, this pandemic has affected our life as it is, our livelihood, and as well as the lifestyle. So these three factors have come to a kind of a complete grinding halt during the initial stages of the pandemic. And all these three areas, have led to a lot of changes in the marketplace, in the consumer preferences, as well as in the market, the product demand. And if I move towards, the challenges what we did face during this pandemic were, kind of distribution challenges that was expected out of the lockdown, logistics issues, and cold and frozen product segment complete negative growth during the initial stages. Now, of course, the things have started coming back to normal. Institutional products like, kind of a thing near zero. HoReCa segment was completely, has been completely badly hit. And huge labor shortages even till now. We have not recovered from the casual labor issues. And many companies from private to cooperative, small to big, got a big hit, whatever may be the size. So that was, kind of the challenges we did face. But those challenges were for the initial 3 months. But luckily for Milky Mist, since we had logistics from end to end, from milk to consumers, we didn't have such kind of issues. Neither we had the problems of the labor or the production capabilities. The trends what I have observed, sitting here since last 5-6 months of this post-lockdown, is that there is a huge consumption surge. And even in the morning, we had some little bit of discussions with some of the market research people. We are now almost, FMCG sector has come back to 95% of the normal pre-COVID level. That's a from 64% to 95% is a huge, the jump and the improvement. So the sector has started picking up, and we are coming back to near normal life. And there was a huge consumption surge for dairy and processed foods of high protein and nutritious products, because all of a sudden people started looking for the products which contain a lot of nutritional properties, whether it is a protein based or whether it is immune properties or a general well-being. So such were the products were started getting attracting huge demands. And there was a significant growth and the demand for products associated with the health and wellness, as I said earlier. And one of the key things what we observed during this period and going forward, even now also the trend is similar, is that, there's a demand for small pack sizes, okay, particularly in food and also the demand for the bigger packs of the processed snacks, increased exponentially. So these are the two things. One is the larger pack sizes in terms of the snacks and other things, processed snacks, and smaller pack sizes, particularly with respect to dairy. We did see a lot of spike in growth, and the growth is now forward. It is now, we are not looking back. And the consumers also started experimenting with the new products and use of high value products. If I put it in a very, very polite way, we had a very good growth during this period of on cheese, butter, and ghee, and also to an extent the UST milk product. So people, one thing what they have learned is that eat good food irrespective of whatever the conditions, so the health is taken care of. So that is the kind of things we observed. And going forward, what we are seeing the consumers' behavior from my own perspective and the experience is that the consumer spend is going to be in the range of 40 to 50% of their earnings as compared to 30% pre-COVID area. This is going to be one of the major contributing factor for people, consumers, never not minding to spend more amount of money from their earnings on food and F&B categories. And the consumer also now shifting towards from healthy and hygienic products. And we have also seen a clear shift from a branded consumer shifting from a non-branded products to a branded products. That is that's a very big a psychological shift from the consumer point of view. And also initial stages, people switched over from animal proteins to vegetable based proteins, and now there is a little bit of swing back into the thing. And so far the consumption trends are very, very high, and the most of the consumption demand is coming from the tier 2 or tier 3 cities. The rural pull is more, maybe because of the reverse migration, or a lot of people have gone back to their villages or small cities and started settling there. So we are seeing a lot of pull from the second tier 2, tier 3 cities. I would say it is essentially a background from rural background. And what we are looking further is that one thing is that, as I told you, people are migrating from the loose products to the packaged commodity. Last time also I gave one example to in some forum, saying that in particularly in Delhi, most of the people, the paneer which was sold in loose, people shifted towards the packaged format. So that was the kind of thing, and that is continually growing. And we are seeing that now people are no more interested in buying a product which is loose. For example, now the sweets is a classic example where people wanted a packaged commodity rather than the sweets getting it from the open, unpacked format. And there is a good demand for a high protein based foods, which is going to continue. And another thing is a small serve packs, enriched with the nutrients, will be an opportunity for everyone to explore, because this is 5 rupee price points, like whether it's a 10 rupees or 50 rupees or 20 rupees packs, is going to be the a good traction, which we are now seeing very, very attractive. And as I said, single service economic pack, and large companies will have a consumer outreach with a lot of logistics and the market support. What I look at is that the economy, the recovery of the economy is a bit slow, which is going to be a little bit of slowness. And people have lost personal income, which is estimated to last until the end of 2021. Because though we may say that the market has opened up, economy has opened up, and people are coming back to the job, but still many people have lost their jobs, and their salary levels have not gone to the pre-COVID levels. Even I would say something like less than 50 to 60%. So it will take at least another 6 months to 1 year time to get a real money in the pockets of the customers. And another important thing which many people have not noticed is that the poverty is expected to be increased by 8 to 10%. That is what the key figure. When there is no job and the poverty, there is no spend, the poverty is literally expected to go up. But one of the silver lining or the factor is that whenever there is an unemployment goes up, the self-employment also goes up. So that there's a kind of an economic balance which is going to take place. So this is how I would like. I have seen this one. But a couple of things what I would like to say is that going forward is that Consumer push is there for the new products. There is no doubt about it. Any product which has the nutritional value, which has been packed hygienically, there is a great demand, which we have seen because we have introduced about 5-6 products during this last 5-6 months. So there's a good demand going there. And many small to medium sized regional players are getting into the market area. So there will be a lot of competition. There will be a lot of new products which are coming into play other than milk, which is all mostly into value-added products. So the consumers are going to get fresh products which are manufactured in their next door or in their region. And investments are also happening in the industry, in the dairy industry. There is a lot of amalgamation taking place. There is a lot of investments happening. Both private and cooperatives are investing in the dairy industry. And as per my estimations, and what my experience is that 40% of the total population always look for some alternate good products. Okay, that is the key factor which is required to be explored in the coming days. And another thing is that because of the economy, the affordability has also increased, and a lot of products are now available regionally. So these are few areas where we see a lot of traction, lot of improvement, and people who are smart enough, the industry who is smart enough can encash these things. The key is a hygienic product, nicely packed in a proper way, and having a shelf life of a minimum number of days. That would be the key element to go forward. Value addition will always be there in dairy, and value addition is happening, and which will continue to grow in the range of 15 to 20% in the coming years also. So I don't see any slowness in the growth. Only the key factor is that people are moving from open or unpacked products to the packed product. So we see a lot of demand coming from that sector. Thank you, Anam, and thank you, Tanvir, and my colleagues. Is there anything?
Sure, we will come with a lot of questions and more inputs to be fetched from you, Dr. Ratnam.
No problem.
Yeah, so but wonderful insights, excellent inputs you have given, and more so the bullishness which you have shown in your thought matches with the bullishness which you are showing in the market also. So we will continue looking forward for hearing in the second part of the session. Now I'll request Bharat to kindly share his screen and share his insights on the same subject. Maybe you can use your PPT, I guess.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And you can see, the topic is PET, packaging for value-added dairy products, which is the much talked about. And you can see at the opening slide itself that you will see our beloved Prime Minister, who is launching a value-added A2 milk by Amul, and Mr. Vijay Rupani and the Amul top team is with him. And slide is not moving. Yep. So this is the who are the top milk producers in the world, and how their share is spread. If you look at the group of countries, EU, they have about 20 to 21% share of the production. India is 18%, USA is 12%, and the rest of the world is 50%. In terms of consumption, if you see, USA per capita is at 285, EU 281, and India 120. And the milk production in 17-18, that the published figure is there, 176 million tons, and population of the cattle is 19 crore. And the projection is in next 2 to 3 years, the production of milk will be 250 million tons. So where will this milk go? So how India consumes milk today? About 64% is the liquid milk that we all consume, and followed by value-added products, which is 25%, ghee, and then milk powder. So it's a total 10 lakh crore plus industry as per the IMARC report. And the growth of the value-added product segment is 15 to 20%. The value-added products are like flavored milk, UHT milk, butter, cheese, curd, ice cream, milkshakes. So in this slide, you will see how different Indian states and even the neighboring countries in Asia, how they look like in terms of milk availability, gram per capita per day. So India, if you see that circle, 337 gram per capita per day, that is the availability in India. And but if you see, there are a lot of states which are much more than the average of India. Punjab is the topper with 1032, followed by Haryana and Rajasthan, Gujarat. In fact, then comes Pakistan, which is at 521. So average consumption, availability of milk in Pakistan is much higher than India per capita basis. And similarly, we'll see the other countries like UP is sort of very close to India availability. And then you will see other countries, Japan, Bhutan. Bangladesh is just minuscule, 5 gram per capita, but it's a milk deficient country. So the value-added products, to just give you a quick glimpse, I have used most of pictures so that pictures speak louder than words. So this is the range of products Amul has introduced over the last few years. They are having 4 aseptic filling lines from Gia, Cronus, KHS, and they have a capacity today of producing 2 million bottles every day. So the range is Lassi, the Amul Cool Cafe, and smoothies, Memory Plus, Camel Milk is something they launched recently. So the pride of cows, so it is a farm to your table sort of dairy, which they package the fresh milk in the PET bottle and deliver it at doorstep. Today, they are also exporting it by air to various other countries also. And they have a range of other products in PET ghee, the curd they have introduced in a PET jar. So the very different type of products are there. It is a fully automated milking process. And everyone is very familiar with this brand. And of course, our good friend who is already in the seminar, the Wonders Milk. This is my favorite milk I used to have in every Indigo flight I used to travel. And they have put up the first dry preform and cap sterilization plant at Kapurthala, the state which has the largest milk availability in India. So basically, this is the other companies, Varun Beverages, they have put up a aseptic line recently, and it is expected that KMF is also going to put up. So all these companies have put up aseptic filling lines in India for value-added product. The ghee also, because of its excellent gas barrier properties, come in PET jars. Now to talk about what worldwide it is happening. If we take the example of Spain, the Iperlat group, they have ESL, UHT milk, lactose-free milk. They have done introductions of these products in PET with the Sedel Predis process and 0.25 to 1.5 liter. And the demand is so good that they are going in for a second Predis line. And they are able to produce variety of products. They are able to achieve scale, build a very strong image because PET is transparent. Consumers can see through the product. So this is a product in Brazil by a Letico brand, Letico A2 fermented milk products. This was developed by Amcor. It has a UV blocker and it maintains clarity in the cold chain. The bottle walls are thick. There is no it's heat shrink label and a 38 mm cap. So the Amcor did a lot of consumer research. The consumer wanted to see the product. They wanted a transparent packaging. That's why this was introduced. So similarly, Argentina, Danone, they have introduced this La Ceresima yogurt in 6 flavors. And it is a 55-year-old brand, and the response from the consumers is really good. Also, Klockner is, which is a machine manufacturer, they are offering this technology for a 10-day shelf life packaging in PET. In France, in Europe, the rPET is the recycled plastic is the talk of the town for the circular economy. And this SGT company has introduced preforms and bottles for UHT milk, which has 25% rPET content. So you can attain a fully circular economy. talk about the safety of PET, because so much of action is happening in PET. PET is a very safe packaging material. You must have all heard of PACE, PET Packaging Association for Clean Environment. They had conducted a research at CFTRI that PET is free from BPA, it is free from phthalates, heavy metals, and consumption of any product in PET does not cause endocrine disruption. So there is a host of approvals PET has worldwide, and this talks about the high safety that PET packaging offers. So there are, after you discard the PET bottle, it can get converted into numerous products. You can see the Indian cricket team, which is the dress that is made out of it is of recycled PET bottles, because PET is nothing but a polyester. Carpets, jeans, the car upholstery, jackets. So a lot of products in India. About there are 45 producers of recycled fiber who procure the discarded PET bottle. There are 60 producers of strap who consume the PET bottles discarded by us, and there are 30 producers of sheet who use. So there was an advertisement in newspapers last year. Most of you would have seen at the front page, which talked about the 90% PET recycling rate in India. Even Babul Supriyoji has admitted in Rajya Sabha during a question hour that PET has one of the highest recycling rates in India, about 90 to 95%. At Reliance also, we produce the resin for making the bottles, which we sell to converters. When the converters discard the bottles, we collect the bottles, convert them into Recron green gold fiber, and this fiber goes into producing our Elan fabrics. And not only this, we also produce a bottle-to-bottle resin, which is used for non-food applications. For consumer awareness, Reliance has put up about 100 such reverse vending machine. Consumer can walk in, drop a bottle, get a discount coupon, and shop at Reliance Smart Store. They can opt for some other options, reward options also, getting discount and an air travel at railway stations. So these are placed at various places, railway stations, tourist spots, colleges, school, and you can also locate the nearest vending machine for you on the Google map. We have tried to move at least whatever machines we have installed, the consumer should be able to see on the Google map and drop the bottle there, so that it doesn't cause littering. This was very highly appreciated by Ministry of Urban Affairs for taking such an initiative. And so you can see the products, you can see the jacket that Parimal Bhai, who is a Rajya Sabha MP, who is showcasing that it is made from recycled PET. Priya Dutt-ji, who inaugurated a machine at a Reliance Smart Store. She is wearing a scarf made out of recycled PET bottles. So PET is very high on sustainability. You can see Aditya Thakre-ji showcasing a Earth T-shirt on his birthday, which is made from 100% recycled PET, because sustainability is very close to his heart. He is the Environment Minister of Maharashtra. And also you can see the Bombay Municipal Corporation employees. They're all showcasing the washable, reusable shopping bags. It's made from 100% recycled PET. Any of you who are interested to get these sustainable products for some launches, for some promotions, can reach out to us, and our team will be very happy to whatever we can do for promoting the awareness and on the sustainability aspect of PET. Not only this, Shri Ramnath Kovindji, he visited a Swachhata Sarvekshan, and he saw these products, and he also dropped a bottle, and he got a Paytm coupon which said 750 rupees off on an air ticket. He was very happy that such an initiative is happening in India, and you can see him appreciating the initiatives. And so this was a brief and a quick update on safety, recycling, and the trends. Thank you very much. This is an inspirational slide. You must have, everyone must be familiar with Sri Krishna ji. You can see him playing the flute. This increases the bovine productivity, more milk is given, and also the appeal of value-added products. You can see the butter that Sri Krishna loved to consume. So with this, thank you very much. Take care, stay safe, consume nutritious products. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Bharat, for a very nice and vivid presentation with lots of, examples. And I really liked, in fact, the concept with which you are, or your organization is not only making the product more attractive, but also hygienic, and most importantly, sustainable also. the pitch of sustainability was excellent, actually.
Thank you.
That exactly.
Actually, I hope I was able to complete within 10 minutes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And before we move on to one another very vibrant presenter, I think Prachi has up in her plan for conducting a short poll on a subject which is related to today's topic. So I guess you're going to be getting a prompt on your system or mobile. Yeah, you already have got. So just go through it. It will be there, I think, for 25 to 30 seconds and for you to answer. And maybe it will be throwing some insights to us.
So you have 5 more seconds to choose any one option. Okay. So more than 60% of the audience has already participated into this polling. Okay, so now we are closing. Thank you so much for your participation. Do you want me to show you the results, sir?
Yeah, I think that will be good. That will be good.
You can see the results.
So as you can see here, the question was, as against the question, maximum number or percentage of people are asking hygiene to be one of the top point in their packaging. And I think it's reinforcing, in fact, some of the points which even some of our panelists had told, and some of the even market research surveys, earlier market research surveys also have told. So excellent, good insight. Thanks a lot, Prachi. So now here we are to listen Sanjay Singhal with his insights on the subject. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so hi. Prachi, can you just put up the slides I had sent you? Prachi?
Yes, sir, I'm doing so.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sanjay and I represent the latest kid on the block in the dairy business in India. ITC Limited. And it is great to listen to Mr. Ratna, who is a veteran in the dairy industry. And of course, Bharat ji, because I think he spoke very well about the PET and the relevance of modern packaging formats. So I'll just go to the presentation. Is it on, Prachi?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I will take only 10 minutes and just try to build on some of the ideas that the speakers have, other speakers have spoken. If you could project it, Swati, Prachi, you just project it. Can you go to slideshow or something, or full screen? Yeah. Okay. Okay, Prachi. So basically, I guess most of us are familiar with ITC. ITC has strong background or base in agribusiness. We are a very large agri player in terms of sourcing of wheat, milk, fruits, and exporters of milk products. FMCG ITC has recently entered, and dairy we entered only 3-4 years. So we are learning from people like Mr. Ratnam and other people. And of course, these are other businesses. So moving on to the next slide, I think I wanted to speak about, because the topic of the discussion was packaging trends and consumer trends. Prachi, this is not coming properly. Can you open in a PDF or something?
Sir, this is actually opened on internet. Like this was a.
Okay. So basically, the thing which I'm trying to say is there are certain consumer preferences that I want to talk about. The fact is dairy is a large industry, and within the industry, we address being the largest producers of milk and the largest consumers. We as businesses are addressing India, which is an urban part of the business, where as my other two speakers were talking about, there is a need for value-added products. But there is also a Bharat, which is basically the low-income part of our country, which is just moving from unpackaged food products to packaged food products, and from unpackaged dairy products to maybe some packaged dairy products. The other point I wanted to say from the beverage perspective, I mean, obviously, what was spoken about by Bharatji is the fact that our milk consumption is primarily milk and curd. And it is very, very surprising indeed. Thanks, Prachi. It's indeed very surprising that despite being such a large dairy consuming producing nation, the size of our milkshake category or dairy beverage category is 1/10 of our, let's say, fruit beverage category, not to even mention colas. So obviously there is a lot of headroom to grow, given that consumers are in the current scenario of COVID and earlier also, people are very, very worried about consuming sugar-based CSDs. Thirdly, and I'm sure a lot of the dairy players have experience with cheese and butter and ghee in the COVID scenario, food experimentation is going on. So, I mean, pizzas, they introduced cheese to the Indian consumer, and the Indian consumer has really taken off on cheese, for example. So that is another building block, I think, which dairy will also benefit. I think also people are willing to pay a premium. I mean, I will not only talk about A2 milk and all, but I'm saying that people are willing to a premium, and that we are all seeing as marketeers for superior products and superior benefits. The second last point may not be relevant for COVID, but definitely, I think from the long-term perspective, out-of-home consumption of dairy is going up. Lassi, chach, milkshakes, etc., and will go up further post-COVID. And of course, Bharatji already talked about that. Within the beverage segment, we thought that the carton format which is there is getting slightly commoditized. There's a need to differentiate. So this was more the long-term trends. If we go to the next slide, I will talk about some of our learnings in the COVID scenario. So if you look at the COVID scenario, I think Dr. Ratnam talked about that, but obviously there was a pressure on HoReCa. Also, there was a huge problem, and I think dairy companies have really burned the burnt of it in terms of cold beverages being under stress, ice creams being under stress. The chart on the right-hand side, I'm sorry, it's a bit small, but basically it is showing that while hot tea, coffee, and milk consumption has gone up post-COVID, the reality, obviously, we all know as consumers, is that milkshake on the go has gone down. Moving on to the next slide, I just want to give you a small perspective. ITC is a very, very new player. We are nowhere near Amul is, or nowhere near even where Milky Mist is, which started many years before us. But basically, we have a small business in East India. And obviously, we saw that a lot of consumer shift was happening from unbranded to branded dairy products. So we extended into most cities in Bihar or Bengal. We launched new products like lassi, etc. in the COVID scenario. Coming to the next slide, Prachi. I think food experimentation is what Dr. Ratnam was talking about. And within food experimentation, one of the things we saw is that everybody was becoming a chef. Families were becoming chefs. Kids were becoming chefs. There was no opportunity to go out, and people did not want to order food at home. So, food experimentation went up. Paneer sales, as Mother Dairy did some very good communication. Ratnam sir talked about it. We also tried to give consumers recipes in partnership with the well-known cuisine chefs of ITC hotels. For example, we created recipes, and we all tried to basically give the consumer, I think, a good experience, because when families were sitting at home for months, I think that the social media really came to their rescue in terms of giving that one moment of happiness of enjoying a different cuisine or having family time. So I think this is one of the things. Moving on. One of the things that I was asked to talk about is e-commerce. And obviously, e-commerce has really gone through the roof. It has gone through the roof in China. It has gone through the roof in India. If I look at our FMCG business and ITC FMCG business, we operate, as you know, largely in atta, noodles, snacks, biscuits. frozen products, or juices and dairy products, we have seen that our e-commerce sales have more than doubled in the last 4 to 5 months. Now, it's obvious it is doubled, but there are certain challenges we have faced, because in a normal general trade scenario, when a consumer was going to a shop, he or she was in an experimentative mode. Today, when a consumer is going to a shop, he is very worried, she's very worried. She doesn't want to spend more than 30 seconds in the shop, buy that packet of milk or bread, and get out of that shop. Same, and hence new brands are struggling to create awareness or trial in this scenario, because nobody wants to go and explore what is the new thing in the market. Similarly, in e-commerce also there are challenges, but I think what we have done and others have done is try to use banners, campaigns, etc., to drive e-commerce. I will dwell, Tanveer, on the packaging interventions on e-commerce in the next slide, as you had asked us. Next slide. Another thing is that the conversations and consumer health consciousness went up. And my product development head, he told me that milk by itself is one of the best sources of immunity, because it is whole food that the cow or the buffalo gives us. So, I mean, that is why milk consumption went up for all of us. And of course, we did some campaigns on immunity, etc. And we found that that is the language the consumer wants. Ghee is making a comeback globally, has made a comeback globally. I mean, someone was talking about Germany wanting to launch a ghee, but I think it is these ancient Indian foods are making a comeback in the dairy category, which is good news for the consumer and good news for the industry. Let's move on, please, Rajiv. This is already Bharatji had talked about it. We believe that as ITC, we believe that it is very, very important to grow value-added products, but also grow them in right categories, because I think that milkshakes, cheese, these are really value-added products from the consumer perspective. And as I was saying, that this entire milkshake, milk-based beverages is just waiting to explore. And we come from the simple insight that, if you look at the Indian consumers' interaction with the milk category, till the child is 5, 6, 7, 8 years, he's in the complete control of the mother. If the mother says she has to drink milk twice in a day, he will better drink it, maybe with the MFD or whatever. Once the child becomes 10, 12, the interaction milk really goes down. It really comes back at older age, 40, 45, 50, due to bone health, digestion issues, etc., etc. Of course, this trend differs in North India and South India and East India, but that is largely the trend. So there is this entire, let's say, psychographic, demographic segment of 15 to 30, where the only interaction in milk that you have, which is a nutritious interaction, is only with tea, coffee, or with products like cheese, curd, etc., etc. And we feel that as corporates, as dairy players, I think we need to really invest behind that. And it was very, very interesting, because as Bharatji talked about, we've made a very small entry in a few states last year with milkshakes using the latest aseptic PET technology. And we tried to craft our propositions, keeping in mind that target audience. So our propositions and our products, like what you see on the top here, are not tailored to a child. They are for a young adult, a college goer, who wants a mango piece in the mango milkshake. Because we have invested in the technology, we can give a 6-month shelf life product without preservative. As Bharatji talked about, where the product can be seen so that the consumer knows there's no preservative in it, there's no chemical in it, and the consumer can actually experience the mango pieces along with the mango juice, with the mango milkshake, or you can experience the badam pieces with the badam shake. Why is it important? Because this young audience, they are going to parlors, for example. Milk parlors, the reason they go is they get superior experiences versus a normal homemade milkshake. So these are some of the small things we are doing. One more thing on e-commerce that we have done, and I'll come back to again packaging here, is that obviously when you try to sell dairy products on e-commerce, obviously milk and all are tough, people are trying that, but even valuable products like milkshakes, typically when the consumer is not going out, The only option is that I would like to consume these products at home. But the problem becomes that no e-commerce player will want to sell one piece, because the cost of couriering and logistics will be more than a 30, 40, 40 rupees of one bottle. So we have made certain multi-product packs which are there, which I can't show the picture right now, but those are meant to actually help the consumer consume 4 flavors of milkshake at home as per their convenience. So I think that a lot of e-commerce growth and interventions from brands are not only about being listed on e-commerce, having the right pricing, having availability. It is also, can I give the consumer and can I give the e-commerce partner secondary packaging solutions so that his costs are taken care of, and the consumer also can enjoy dairy products the way they are supposed to enjoy. Moving on, Prachi. And Bharatji talked very nicely about our products being available on airlines, etc. Because we have seen that from a dairy perspective also, the packaging is very, very important for all food categories. I talked about the fact that the consumer's interaction with dairy products and milk goes down in that 15, 18 to 40 years. So when I personally met with Indigo Airlines, to give an example of the opportunities that Mr. Bharat also talked about, they said we sell juices on airlines, we sell cola, we sell chai coffee. We want to try milkshakes because we want to experiment that a corporate traveler in the pre-COVID times who's 35, 40-year-old or 27-year-old will have a milkshake. So we tried that with this milkshake, the square bottle on the left-hand side, and we got fantastic results because India loves dairy. It is just that if you make these products available, as the panel was saying, the results of Prachi, conveniently, safely, innovatively, and tasty, people will laugh for it. So it is our imagination that how much we can give these offerings in new places. I would never have imagined that a corporate traveler would actually be sitting next to me having a 300 ml milkshake and finishing the entire bottle and saying, my meal is done, I don't want a sandwich, I don't want anything, I've had a very refreshing dairy-based beverage. Moving on, Prachi. And lastly, of course, Mr. Bharat and Reliance is doing some very, very good work on the area of sustainability. I'm privileged to work for an organization like ITC, which believes in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, that we are working for the Indian consumer and the Indian environment. And we are also, like Reliance, we have a very, very large WOW program. WOW program that we run with many municipalities in these 8 states, which I have mentioned, is basically well-being out of waste. Because we believe that plastic or waste cannot be avoided. If you have to consume food products, you will need some packaging. So you cannot ban plastic. You cannot ban PET. You have to manage PET. You have to manage PET as an ecosystem between the government, people like Reliance, people like manufacturers like all of us in and outside this forum. And how are we trying to manage in a small way? I mean, I'm very happy to tell you that across these 7-8 cities, ITC by itself has sustainably diverted 75,000 metric tons of dry waste, which goes into landfills, into co-processing. And we work sustainably with 16,000 waste collectors. Also, Bharatji has spoken about PET. We ourselves have collected and processed 9,000 tons of multi-layered plastic in a sustainable manner. So, WOW program is there. Bharatji talked about PACE. I think the industry has to come together along with the government and find solutions, because there is no replacement in the near term to plastics or to packaging. We have to all come together to manage it and give smart solution to the consumer. So that's all I wanted to say, friends. And thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sanjay, for, as usual, very exciting sharing of inputs. I really like the way you got the satisfaction by seeing a person sitting next to you in the airline, finishing the entire, and executives finishing, the entire milk bottle. And I'm sure you'd have enjoyed, and most probably would have been having your brand in his hand.
Yes, yes.
But as we all will agree that the safest place where the milk can be stored is the udder of the cow or buffalo. And next to that, when we look at how it can be brought before the consumer in a very safe, convenient, and hygienic manner, is the way we have heard, in fact, wonderful success stories. And the best part in this is coming out is that this journey is still on. So, I was sometime back coming across one news of Amul itself planning to come with True Seltzer as a brand, which is actually a combination of milk, fruit juice, and fizz. So one had never thought that milk actually can be brought in the fizzy kind of drink. So point what I'm trying to say here is that the people who are there into this industry are actually adding so much of innovativeness, and they are getting so much of ideas being closer to the consumer that I'm sure that in the coming time, these all things is going to be coming in all the more, aggressive manner. And this is what is needed, in fact, to take the milk industry up in the value chain. So now we are going to be having the session related to the question and answer. So I have also already been seeing some of the questions here in the chat box. And as I was saying that during the registration also, some of the people have already sent the question. So maybe I will start with the questions which we have received beforehand, and then we'll be picking up the question from the chat box as well. So let me start with Dr. Ratnam. Sir, your organization is introducing, as we saw also or heard also, that a series of new and innovative products, innovatively designed products. So in your opinion, how the buying behavior of the consumers are changing, and how do you observe, prioritize, and introduce the product as per the changing consumer behavior? Can you share some insight on this, sir?
Yeah, sure. See, one of the things what we have is, particularly in the experience of Milkymist, is that we have bought the space from supermarkets by providing the VC coolers and the frozen, the vertical freezers. So we have got about 14,000 VC coolers across the market in South India. And we have got each one is around something like 500 liters. So that much amount of space we have bought. So then what is happening is that, we are seeing when a person is opening the VC cooler, he's not only buying one product, but he also end up in buying 2 or 3 products. Okay. Because we have got a huge product range. So what I'm seeing is that, there's a good amount of spend, particularly coming on from the consumers for the dairy products. What I'm seeing is that, last few months is that the cheese is, the people are picking up cheese like left and right center. They want to experiment with various recipes. People are buying a good amount of butter, and people are buying a good amount of paneer because of, it's a protein content and the protein nature. So spending, I don't see a major issue as far as if you are giving a right product, a good quality, and the key element is nicely packaged, hygienically packed, and also fresh. It is not that sitting there for 3 months or 4 months in the cell, but it is the key is the freshness. So if you are able to do that, if you are able to do the surveys, I think people are there to buy.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Ratnam. So the same question, if I roll it to Sanjay Singhal, in your organization, how do you observe, prioritize, and introduce the product? Because as I understand, you are a keen observant of consumer behavior.
That's very kind of you, but basically, I think the basics don't change, because all of us work on the same basics of first understanding what are the needs of the consumer, then trying to figure out, though one thing we focus on, not only in dairy but other products in ITC, is that we think that we should not be launching Me Too products, because we find that neither are we able to get consumer acceptance, neither are we able to make sustainable margins if our products are Me Too, because the reality of Me Too products is that they will lead you to very high trade margins to be given, and you will not get sustainable repeats. So for example, even when we have launched packet milk in, let's say, East India, we have tried to do some innovation in the basic process so that our products are tastier and better tasting than others. Beyond that, as any other large organization does, we do our own set of consumer learning, research, etc., etc. And of course, I mean, I will not talk about Tata and all because Ashirwad and all are big brands, but in dairy, we are still learning because dairy, I mean, as I said, it's only 4 years, and in 4 years, we are still learning. But we hope, and the good thing, as I always say, Mr. Tanveer, is that I have worked in personal care, I've worked in beverages. What I love about dairy industry, and I'm sure that it is my kudos to all the dairy participants here, that in this industry I have found the camaraderie that even competitors talk to each other. Competitors in the dairy industry, they want to help each other because they believe they are working for the good of the farmer and the consumer, which doesn't probably happen in a Pepsi Coke fight or a Unilever P&G fight.
You're right. I think that's a very good point what you said. Bharat, one question to you. That one question has come, in fact, in chat box itself, and I have been hearing it earlier also from some people, that technology in packing, it is believed that it comes with a very high cost. So do you really feel that for getting the advantage of technology of packing and high quality packing, one really has to spend more or lots of money, or can it come with affordability?
See, I'll tell you, you are right that like if you see at the investments in the PET space that has happened in India, that's 70, 80 crores sort of aseptic lines by the large organizations, and it's not that everyone can get into this. Just let me take an example of flavored milk. So see, in the earlier days, flavored milk was coming in glass bottles. How was it happening? It was being done at retort packaging. Then came polypropylene. So polypropylene bottles used to come, and the same retort process was happening there. And so this market started growing, and once the market grew, there was a big rationale to go for high-speed, high-capacity filling line for PET. That's what Amul did, and that's how ITC is doing that. After a market has reached a threshold stage, and of course, like Singalji mentioned, that a lot of market research also goes into where to launch. So this, when you're doing such a big investment, you need market research. Of course, you need you have to be a recently sort of decently bigger organization so that you have that financial strength, your money plus the bankers' money to grow the market. So the approach is go into a cheaper technology option like a retort pack to test the market, build your brand, have the feedback. That is very good for market. But once you have the volume, then you go in for aseptic PET line. So I think this journey, one goes, then there will be little pain because you'll be able to have a grip of the market. That's I think that understanding we should all follow.
That's great. And just a follow-up question to that itself, to you again, Bharat, that how you are seeing the options of paper carton or the other kind of LDP, PET, and PP, being made available to the milk product manufacturer going ahead. Are you seeing that only a few large corporates are going to be the supplier of such packaging, or you're going to be seeing some more setting up capex and setting up the industry of such kind?
See, definitely there is space for. It's not that everyone is going to use some consumers may have preference towards paper-based cartons. Some may have inclination towards traditional glass. So there is a space for everything. And of course, like if you see the paper carton, especially Tetra Pak, if you see, they are very good in the aseptic technology. They offer lines for PET as well, and they are very good in this technology. That is a very good strength. And also they sort of give it on lease their plant out, and that helps kickstarts the consumption of that carton. So that's a big strength, which PET also like machine suppliers like Sidel and KHS, they're also trying to work out. And maybe some good solution is provided by these technology suppliers.
Perfect. Thank you. So, Dr. Ratnam, one question to you. In fact, you are well aware that We are, of course, the largest producer of milk. But the fact is that almost 65 to 70% of the milk is sold and consumed in liquid form itself in India. So do you feel that it's basically because of not availability of packaging innovation in India for long, and since long we have been seeing the milk in the pouch form itself? So customers or consumers are more seeing differential packaging and innovative packaging in the last couple of years. So do you attribute this to the reason that we were not innovative enough in past to bring the milk and milk product in innovative packaging, and that has led to the habit of consumption of more milk in fluid form in India?
Okay. Can I take a couple of minutes to respond this?
Sure, sir.
Liquid milk consumption at this rate, 60-65% is going to stay. It's going to go on, continue be like this only, because basically our per capita consumption of milk is still less as compared to any other developed countries. What we expect is right now it's around we expect around 550 to 600 ml per capita consumption going forward in a few years. So this will dominate the liquid milk session will the category will dominate the market. There's no doubt about it. But why the technology did not, the things did not develop in terms of packaging? For a couple of reasons. Number one, the milk packing was largely limited to cooperatives. That is the number one, because most of the private players, that point of time, if you look at 5 years back or 10 years back, they were non-existent in terms of liquid milk consumption, except a couple of people. Okay. The second is there were a kind of logistics issues. Okay, because we never had a proper development of the logistics, both in terms of the transportation, the storage, and the distribution system. You also had a kind of infrastructure facilities, because if you consider 10 years back or 5 years back, the investments in dairy sector was not coming through in private sectors, whereas it was happening in a bits and pieces in a good, properly run, managed, cooperatives like Amul or Nandini. There were kind of a good amount of investments, but not in all other cooperatives across the country. And there was not much of investments coming from the private sectors, because the stabilization was taking place. Then there was also kind of a consumer, conservative consumer approach towards spending on dairy products, okay, particularly on milk. Because if I charge 2 rupees more, the people will immediately shift to the other brand, because one is there is a brand loyalty for the liquid milk, but there is also not loyalty, because there are section of consumers who are very much conscious about the money, it means how much they are paying to the packet. And as I told, the lack of investment from the stakeholders. So all these factors contributed for longer sustainability of this poly pouch right from 1990s till now. But as you rightly said, since last 2-3 years or 5 years, now people have gone ahead for a hygienic way of packaging the products. Now you can see milk coming in a PET bottles. You have the Tetra Pak, that brick pack segment is growing in a very nicely, very, very, very good exponential growth which is taking place. And with the COVID, the growth has gone up further. And now the people are also now packing in 3 layers or 5 layers barrier films and reaching it to the other places. These things are now happening, and slowly, gradually, the shift is happening. Okay, the only constraint for high volume packing is the processing capacity. If I have to go for a brick packing, then my processing capacity is limited to 7,000 liters per hour, 10,000 liters per hour. Then I have to put a multiple lines. So the initial investment is the only entry barrier. But I think probably now, since now most of the people are manufacturing the stabilizers and the packaging machines in India and all in the developing countries, probably in going forward, I would see a lot of changes, conversion from a simple pouch milk, one, hygienic point of view. Second, the environmental point of view, the plastic consumption, people would migrate towards a better packaging. That's what I see.
Excellent. Great. I think the ending point was very nice of you, that we need to look at packaging also from 2 perspectives. One, what is making the product at the least cost available to the consumer in maybe liquid form itself, which is making customer confidence go up on the fluid milk also. And then the other side, very high-end, milk product in a very nicely, innovatively packaged form, which perhaps the customer can use off and on. To Sanjay, one question, if I can correlate the same question little bit in a way which had been your past forte also. You entered into atta segment and you converted a commodity-based product into a branded segment with Ashirvad Atta. And after that, we are seeing a lot of innovation in packaging, anti-static to nice pack or convenient, friendly. Maybe I don't know what next will be coming in that. So similarly, similar thing has happened into the packaged drinking water. So are you also seeing that the past couple of years aggressive work on the innovative packaging is going to be changing the dairy scenario altogether differently? You're on mute, sir.
Okay, my apologies, Tanveer. I'll try to draw a parallel with Ashirvad Atta because Ashirvad Atta now, which is $1 billion brand for us, has basically grown because it has managed to convert people from loose atta to package atta. And to also not only do that, you'll be very surprised to hear that the geography where we sell the largest amount of Ashirvad Atta is not the atta eating geography of India. We sell our largest sale of Ashirvad Atta is in the south of India. We managed to convert and bring the health conscious consumer of south to start eating roti and paratha. So what are the equivalents we can find? I mean, one is the fact that as Dr. Ratnam was talking about, the fact that a not very expensive proposition for packaging was found to give atta to the consumer, which was supposed to be better in terms of hygiene and quality. I think secondly, there are certain innovations we have done in terms of packaging itself. The problem with atta is that when you pack atta, and if you don't have pinholes in the packaging, it can fall. These are 10 kg packs of 5 kg and they can burst. That is a big problem for retail and sometimes consumers. So we have technology, and Bharatji is a technical person, where we bring in microscopic pinholes so that you have no infestation going from outside. Insects cannot go in the retail or in our warehouses, but you're able to take out that air which can build up and lead to better shelf life and I think better handling of the product. Going to milk, I think there are one or two great examples. Bharatji talked about milkshakes and all. Let's take a traditional category like curd. And I saw that, we also are a packaging company. I saw one of the milk players, dairy players in South India. They have launched a pouch curd, 400 grams with a zip pack, a ziplock like you have on Haldiram Namkeen. I think that is also very, very innovative because the consumer, when she's buying a 400 gram pack, you can't consume in a 4 family 400 gram ka curd. But that itself is very, very convenient. So, I mean, it is not very expensive as compared to a cup curd, but it is very, very innovative. So I think that I would agree with Dr. Ratnam that I don't think that pouch milk is going to go anywhere. I think it will stay, it will grow. The great news is that dairy, all the people, the participants here are blessed to be in a category which, despite being 1.5 lakh crores in packet itself, is going at 15%. Just imagine the dairy category is adding industry size equal to many other food categories. And I think there are innovation possibilities everywhere. Imagination is the only limit to what you can all do. We can all do in the dairy category in packaging.
Thanks a lot, Sanjay. Very, very candid inputs, in fact, from your side. Bharat, one question to you. In fact, in a way, this question is reflecting into the chat box also by some people. From technology perspective, what packaging do you feel is best for the milk and milk products? And what are the further advancements you are foreseeing in future technology related to packaging of milk and milk products, so that the people who are there in this industry can prepare themselves mentally? Can you give some, crystal gaze picture?
Sir, I believe that the sustainability centricity around packaging is going up around the world. It's more high in Europe and USA. In India also, people are catching up. like ITC is printing on their pack itself how much of plastic they're collecting. This customers' inclination towards sustainability centricity packaging, that's going on. One thing is that. The other thing is also consumer, because of this digital apps and all, they want to be engaged. And what sort of information comes in. I'll tell you, I think I came across a program wherein Chitale Dairy, when the consumer discards the pouches, they had a tie-up with some recycle sort of startup in Hyderabad who collects this. The consumer can put on the app that this much of plastic has got collected at my place, and you can pick it up, sort of. So this customer engagement with the product in terms of sustainability and sustainability centricity of that messaging. That's why you see as I think a lot of people were not aware that PET is recyclable. That's why you find a lot of reverse vending machines, so much of recycled products around. So creating awareness about the sustainability centricity, the recyclability of the packaging is going to be the key. And I think all sorts of technologies will converge how to bring about efficiency in terms of automation. If you use the back, PET was not there in flavored milk for long shelf life. Now it's there. So the machine manufacturers, they are doing all this testing and talking to the brand owners, the customer insights, and they're into value-added products is a very big space to do this.
Great. So, Mr. Sanjay, since you also keep a look on one step ahead on these aspects, so what is the next big thing in packaging related to dairy and dairy product you have up in your mind, which you want to roll out as a surprise to the customers?
No, that is very kind of you, but I think that we are far beyond in terms of our presence in dairy than Dr. Ratnam and other people. Right now we think that being very, very early players, I think we keep developing new products and new categories across foods. But right now we are just working on just growing our businesses, because as you know, we entered fresh dairy just 3 years back. We entered milkshakes 1 year back. So right now our focus is to just scale these up and make more consumers try these products. So there are things in action, but I think that we would like to focus right now on just growing these babies that have just been born in the last few years.
Great. So like a smart marketer is keeping the thoughts in closely test, Great. So one or a couple of questions, Dr. Ratnam, which is coming up, and I think audience is not going to be leaving you to go from here unless you answer that. Related to shelf life of your curd. So what is making your curd? I didn't observe that way. I eat, in fact, milky-based curd, but maybe I consume it within a week perhaps. But the question is, your curd has got 40 days of shelf life, whereas competitors have around 20 to 25 days. So what change in process or packaging you adopt? What is the secret behind it?
The secret behind is that, curd we give more on set curd, particularly in buckets and the containers. That anybody can buy. But the process change, what we have done is that, we have a bacterial clarifier, a bacterfuge, which can take out all the spores and the bacteria before it goes into the processing. So that is the key element. Any dairy who has a vision to want to make a good quality products, the bacterfuge is the key element, key factor. And if your spores are sitting in because spores can escape from the processing. You are heating the milk at the most 75, 76 degrees centigrade or 78. How much you can keep on increasing the temperature. So there is an inherent, spores or bacteria present, which we take it out, and you immediately have a very good, pleasant taste and the longer shelf life product. That is the key. Processing is the key. Better hygienic controls and the processing is the key factor. Which I used to do it when I was in Amul, because there was no new this one. So we just introduced the same thing back here.
That's great. So, in fact, now we are almost coming closer to the end of the session. A couple of minutes are left before I hand over, after 4 minutes, to be precise, to Prashant for making the wrap up. So I may not be able to pick up all the questions, but one of the question I'd like to ask, possibly first to Dr. Ratnam, is that skimmed milk powder in India, largely is a undersold product. In my opinion, it's a very undersold product. We are using SMP more as a backup plan and maybe looking at export as a market. But in this COVID situation, I'm sure you all would have been knowing that the sale of SMP in metro cities had increased almost 30 to 40%. Bangalore was the highest. Bangalore was the city where the highest, sale was there. Can we look at this as an opportunity to innovatively present the proposition of SMP to the consumer as a form of milk, and that to safe and hygienic milk, which they can reconstitute at their own end? What is your thought on it, Dr. Ratnam?
See, again, as you said, during this COVID period, every product got sold, and SMP was a handy, there is no nothing. But as a packaged commodity, I don't think, I mean, personally, it's my own personal thing looking at the market, which is not going to have a much of a traction. Okay. See, all this SMP boils down to only 75,000 to 100,000 tons a year. That is the only quantity which creates this ripples, whether bringing down the price or taking up the price. So that is the only thing. But what I'm seeing is that, people have to look beyond SMP. Okay, you need to convert the surplus milk into an SMP. But at the same time, where is our innovation coming for the value-added products from the big players? Okay, it's not happening. Okay, if you are able to, if you bring down that 1 lakh tons of 100,000 tons of SMP into a value addition, into a product value addition, probably nothing is going to happen. So the key element is that how do we increase the value addition to the product? That is the only thing. SMP packing as it is with very attractive packing or with a price point and all those things, I don't think it is going to work in the market.
Fair enough. I think going by the nodding which of Sanjay, he also agrees to this, or you have any other opinion, Sanjay?
I agree completely.
Okay.
No, I completely agree, because I'm saying that during the lockdown, I also bought Tetra Pak milk. I also bought for my family dairy whitener. But as soon as fresh milk started, dairy whitener वहाँ पड़ा हुआ है. So I think it's versa.
You're right. In fact, I was reading one terminology which is called revenge shopping. So when a customer is in distress, actually he likes to do something which he had never done earlier. So maybe purchase of SMP would have been part of that revenge shopping phenomena, and people are also saying that this is going to be reflected even in some of the other segments where they have not made purchase since long. I only hope that our better halves are not listening it, because in the fluid of this, maybe we all will be poorer by much more money, with their revenge shopping approach, right? So fine. So Prachi, are you going to be conducting the poll, or I understand the time is less, so we will do away with the poll. And actually, it was wonderful, to tell you frankly, to talk to all of you. It would have been really nice, in fact, to carry it on more. But yes, that would have been at the cost of, sacrificing the time and not adhering to the timeline which we have set. So once again, thanks a lot to the esteemed panelists for sharing very candid inputs and very thoughtful ideas and insights to all of us. Over to you, Prashant, for wrapping up the session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. You've done very nice.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Alam. And firstly, I would like to start with thanking all our panelists. So Dr. Ratnam, Sanjay sir, and Bharat sir. It was really great to have you all here and then learn from your experiences and how you see how COVID has actually impacted the packaging of the dairy sector, and how we are moving ahead, and what do we anticipate that what is coming in our way. As India is really poised to grow, we are #1 producer of the milk in the world, and we are going to be as of now only 20% or roughly around 20% of the milk is being processed or goes through a processed organized channel. But government of India does sees that we need to grow the organized sector. And by 2025, they have set up a project of increasing the organized sector by 45%. That means we need to push a lot of milk through organized channel. That means a lot of packaging would be needed. And as we have already discussed, a lot of packaging needs are there, but what are the needs that we have really seen is definitely something that has to be sustainable. But I see that, and like what has also come out of the discussion is like sustainability is one thing, environmental sustainability, but it's even bigger for a country like India is the nutritional sustainability. A packaging that is able to carry product that is hygienic, a product that is packaged in a way that brings customers confidence. Packaging is the thing that actually creates the communication between a processor and the consumer. So I definitely see that like a lot of new things would come up. So thanks a lot to everyone. And we would be coming up again with another round of the webinar by 1st of December. And we would like to have you join us there again. So thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Anveer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Ratnam. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.